Can I just start off by saying the way things are done in RTE around the culture is why we're here today. And certainly, in my mind, lessons haven't been learned. If that is still the line that's being peddled out here today, that, legally, this so-called independent advice, that's the way it's always been done. That's the culture within RTE. Lessons clearly have not been learned. And I think, that document is a key document from May 2020. It's a key piece of information that we haven't been furnished with. And look, I think I know why it's being withheld. I think the public will make up their own minds. It's certainly doing absolutely nothing to restore public confidence in RTE. You cited the figure of TV licence renewals down 39%. I think on foot of this meeting today, it's going to further decrease instead of confidence being restored. So can I ask that critical piece of information, can I ask the Secretary General of the Department as to whether the Department have seen that key piece of evidence, that document from the Teams meeting? Have you requested it?
No, we haven't.
No? Has the Minister seen it?
No, but you must understand.
Has the Minister hasn't requested it, hasn't seen it?
No.
Okay. Well, I find that fascinating, that RTE would essentially come in here and over the last number of weeks put the begging bowl out, asking for a bailout from the taxpayer, from government, without this key piece of information. And in my mind, without that key piece of information, in my mind, not a penny should be given over to RTE, because I think that is the keystone in terms of the evidence that we,
Deputy,
as Public Accounts Committee,
as I said earlier on, the two people who were at that meeting, Noel Kelly and the Director General, Noel Kelly has given his version of that meeting.
Okay,
the Director General has
Mr.
also.
You've said
so
that.
It is not a key piece of evidence. There is no dispute about what Noel Kelly said happened at that meeting, and neither did D. Forbes dispute it in the Grant Thornton report.
Okay, well, if that's the case, that information should be furnished in relation to that Teams meeting. Look, can I say, I find it extraordinary that the Department nor the Minister have asked or received that information either.
Just to restate what I said earlier, by law, RTE is independent in the operation of its object set out in the Broadcasting Act. We do not get involved in the day-to-day operation of RTE, nor can we. And that is why we don't seek to direct them. I mean, obviously the Minister is very clearly on record on multiple occasions saying that she expects RTE to cooperate as fully as possible. And she expects that to continue. Okay, but this is about governance, it's about oversight, it's about restoring trust within RTE, that lessons have been learned and we have moved on. And I think without that openness and transparency coming from RTE in terms of a critical piece of information, I don't think we're anywhere close to starting
Deputy,
that process.
If I could just say,
can I just move
sorry,
on?
Can I just come back? Sorry, Deputy.
Hold on.
Sorry, Mr. Backhurst.
Look, it's not fair to make these wide aspersions on RTE. We are working extremely hard to be transparent and open. There is a dispute about one piece of legal information.
Key
it is not key, as I've just said, but there is a dispute about this one document, and there's an important principle for the. Sorry, there's an important. No, sorry,
that's your interpretation of it. That it's not key. Unfortunately, we haven't got that privilege to make that determination because it's been withheld from us. And that's the problem. Can I just move on in terms of Richard Collins? And I heard what you said earlier on in relation to him resigning from the organisation. Can I ask as to whether it was an amicable separation?
It was professional.
It was professional. Have legal papers been served on RTE by Mr. Collins?
No, they have not.
Yet?
There was an agreement we reached. His legal team were present.
Okay, there was an agreement reached and his legal team were present. Okay. In terms of the TV licence renewals, we got the most up-to-date figures there. Last week, renewals down 39%. What is the net loss and what does that equate to?
Well,
Our latest estimate, if the trends continue, is the 21 million for this year.
21 million, okay. And can I ask, in terms of commercial revenue for the year to date, in comparison to last year, what is the commercial revenue like?
Commercial directors here, would you like to bring him in, Conor?
Commercial revenue is down year on year in a market. The overall market is worth.
What is it down?
It's down in single percentage points.
Sorry?
Single percentage points.
9%?
It's in single. I don't have the exact figure. It's single
so
percentage points.
just below 10%. It's down. So it's not an insignificant amount. What does that in numbers, in cash? What does that equate to?
I'm not going to say that because we are still trading this year, and this is the busiest time of our year.
Okay, is it we're talking 10 million, 20 million? I'm not looking for specifics.
There's millions. There's millions. But in a year-on-year comparison, it's very difficult to do because we have significant events, and last year was a significant event at this time of year in terms of the FIFA World Cup, and so there was significant revenues in that regard. So in a market that is worth about 1.2 billion euro, and 70% of that goes online to global operators, multinationals. RTE competes in television alone with over 50 TV stations for advertising.
I'm just conscious of the time.
I'm aware of that, but
the projections for the rest of the year, do you envisage that trend continuing for the remainder of the year?
The overall market is trending down in single digits.
Okay.
Deputy, can I just add on that really importantly? I think we did reforecast earlier in the year because there had been a fall in commercial revenue. I would say the commercial revenue has been performing strongly over the last few months, so we're ahead of the reforecast. So yes, it's down year on year, but we're in a better position than we were a few months ago.
Okay, and do you think the controversy that has unfolded within RTE over the last number of months has any impact on commercial activity?
I would like to say our clients and our agencies have been very supportive to us.
Okay.
I just add to that. Conor and I met with a number of our key clients, and that is the message from them. They're very supportive. They see RTE as an important client, and most of all, they're ambitious to spend with us. So we've had positive interactions with them.
Okay. Moving on, just to go back to the 150,000 payment that Ryan Tubridy in this committee said he would furnish back. We had evidence, or the former Chief Financial Officer, Richard Collins, described it as potentially a fraudulent payment, in the fact that invoices were furnished, and we have it in the Grant Thornton report here that the invoices had the description consultancy fee. It's evidence there that consultancy fees did not reflect the substance of the transaction. The talent agent did not provide consultancy, and the talent did not provide consultancy, and that was described as potentially fraudulent by the former Chief Financial Officer, Richard Collins. And at this point, now that Ryan Tubridy is probably refusing to pay that money back because the renegotiated contract has fallen through, what outside actions has RTE taken to recoup that? Have you got further independent legal advice outside of the cultural legal advice that is within RTE? Have you gone to the Gardaí in relation to that potential fraud?
I could bring in Paula here. I think it's important to say that, it was one of the first questions I asked about the whole issue and transaction, whether we thought legally it was fraud or not. And the advice I got quite firmly was that it was not. And the second thing is, I think it's really important to say in this regard that, RTE bears a significant amount of responsibility for this and how it was designed and so on. So, whether we can pursue someone externally for it when actually they had in the end, they had a legal contract to give it to them, and with it, put aside the inaccuracy of the invoices.
Okay, I think so at this stage, RTE are willing to allow that 150 just sail off into the
I'm not willing to allow it, but I have to operate within legal advice.
Can I just move on in the last brief few moments I have, just around the bogus self-employment, and you put some of the figures on public record in terms of settlements with revenue. 1.2 million, I think was stated. And how many employees does that relate to? Is that the?
Is that the 139? I think it is.
I don't have the number of employees to hand.
You don't.
Those would be the cases that we've dealt with so far, but obviously there's significant hundreds to go.
Can you provide that to the committee?
Yeah.
And there is a further scope exercise being carried out by the Department of Social Protection. How many employees or former employees does that scope cover?
The number that we've been given is 695.
695.
So and 149 of those have been are underway at the moment. Okay, and they would include.
And that 20 million that has been set aside or is earmarked, that is there to potentially cover some of those 600 odd that are.
That's our estimate. Yeah.
That's your estimate. And how much has been set aside? Just I'll conclude on this, Chair. And we know that there's a number of workers have been given a month to decide as to whether they will accept a payment of between 2,500 up to 17,500. I think that is about 7.
Sorry.